Hello students, we are towards the end of the chapter Molecular Basis of Inheritance. This is the last topic of the chapter, that is DNA fingerprinting. Okay, the same DNA test is biologically named as DNA fingerprinting. You know what is fingerprinting? Our fingerprints, you know that is our identity. Okay, your fingerprint is unique for you and mine is unique for me. Okay, but this can be altered with some simple surgery. Not necessary. If it is necessary for any criminals or like, they can alter their fingerprint with simple surgery. But there is another unique identity testing, DNA test, which can never be altered. Okay, a DNA of a person is unique for him. There is no any person other than a monozygotic twin sharing same DNAs. Okay, so my DNA is unique for me. Yours is unique for you. So in order to compare you and me, we can have DNA test. So the DNA of the two individuals are compared in DNA test or studied in DNA test. Okay, let us discuss DNA fingerprinting in detail. Okay, see, after Human Genome Project, the findings you have studied in the last class, and there you have studied 99.9% of DNA of individuals are same, and there is difference only in what? 0.1%. That means my DNA differs from your DNA only in 0.1%. Then tell me, the DNA test or DNA fingerprinting will be surely based on this difference. Okay, so we can say DNA test or DNA profiling is another term is DNA profiling or DNA fingerprinting is a test to compare differences in the DNA of two individuals. Okay, then see what is the principle of DNA fingerprinting. In order to understand the principle of DNA fingerprinting, you should know what is a satellite DNA or what is repetitive DNA. What idea you have about repetitive DNA? This one you have already learned in HGP. What is meant by repetitive DNA? Tell me, what is a repetitive DNA? A repetitive DNA is a short stretch of DNA which is repeated many times in our DNA. Okay, last time I have just drawn it with the help of a small example I have given. That means in our long DNA, one stretch of DNA, if it repeats many times, hundreds of thousands times, that is known as repetitive DNA. We have such kind of many repetitive DNAs in our DNA. So, major part of our DNA is repetitive DNA. You have already studied. Okay. Then, this repetitive DNA is also known as, what is the other name? Is also known as satellite DNA. So, another term for repetitive DNA is satellite DNA. What is it? A short stretch of DNA which repeats many times in our DNA or genome. Okay, so repetitive DNA or satellite DNA can be classified to many types. The classification is based on the length of the repeating segment. Okay, length of the DNA stretch, first character. It is based on how many times it repeating units. Okay, whether it's repeated 100 times, whether it's repeated 1000 times, I mean if it's repeated for long, variable number, like. Then another criterion is whether it's rich in AT, adenine thymine base pair, whether it's rich in GC rich. I mean, is it AT rich or GC rich? I simply mean satellite DNA can be classified to many types based on this main criteria. I mean the length of the DNA stretch, then how many times it repeat, whether it's a variable repeat or not. Then whether it's a short repeat or not. Then third criterion, whether it's rich in adenine thymine base composition or it is rich in guanine cytosine base composition. Based on such kind of things into account, we can classify satellite DNA into many types, and one of that major classification is microsatellite and mini satellite. So, two types of satellite DNA you want to study is, they are microsatellite and mini satellite. Which one is small, micro or mini? Mini skirt you can. Micro means against small dress. Okay, so micro is the smaller one here. That means in a microsatellite, the repetitive segment is 2 to 6 base pairs long. Okay, if there is a repetition of 2 to 6 base pairs, that comes under microsatellites. In some books you can see up to 10 base pairs. Anyway, this is not as base pairs, it is calculated. Since it is dealing with computer software, it is calculated in kilobytes size, KB. Okay, then anyway, see 2 to 6 base pairs repeated only means that is coming under microsatellites. If the repeat is 10 to 25 base pair repeat, that is coming under mini satellite. Just to get an example here, I just give you. If it's a repeat of CA, CA, CA like this. I mean, this is repeated in our DNA. Suppose this is a repetitive unit. This is repeated in our DNA. How many times repeat here? CA, repetitive unit here is having only 2 bases, C and A. So this is coming under microsatellite. How many times it is repeated in this particular region I have drawn? It is 1, 2, 3, 4 times repeated. It can be 100 to 1000 times repeat in a small area itself. So this is having 2 base pair repeat. Anyway, for any repetitive DNA, it's this side and this side there will be a conserved sequence. That never change. Only this is having how many times it will repeat will be changed. If as in my case, if 1, 2, 3, 4 times it will repeat, in your chromosome, the same chromosome, it may be 1000 times repeating. Okay, maybe 200 times repeating in another person. That is what the difference. Okay, so this is a repetitive DNA which is shown here. This is a microsatellite because it has only 2 base pairs. The repetitive segment consists of only 2 base pairs. When what is the difference between you and me is how many times it will repeat in each chromosome. I mean the entire DNA, how many times it will repeat. That is the difference. If it's here, we have shown 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times it is repeated. 4 repeats of CA is present in one individual. Another individual, it may be with 200 repeats of CA. That is the difference. Okay, it's highly variable. So understand, a microsatellite will be showing a repeat of 2 to 6 base pairs. This is a microsatellite. If it's a mini satellite, I mean how I have to draw GC, AC, okay, AT, CG, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Likewise, minimum 1 repeat itself is the same thing will be again repeated. Should I again write it? No need, no. That means 10 to 25 base pair is 1 repeat. Likewise, hundreds of repeats will be there. That differ in person to person. So understand what is microsatellite and what is mini satellite. Okay. A satellite DNA is a structure of DNA which repeats many times in an individual's DNA. Based on these facts, it can be classified to microsatellite and mini satellite. Microsatellite consists of a repeat of 2 to 6 base pairs. It repeats many times, hundreds, 1000 times. And mini satellite consists of a base pairs of 10 to 25 base pairs which repeat many times. Okay, from individual to individual. So what is the difference? I and you may be having same types of satellites, micro and mini satellites, but the difference is in how many times it repeat. Okay, from from my 1 chromosome to 23rd chromosome, this repeating unit differ. Then from chromosome to chromosome it will differ, and from person to person it surely differs. That is the basics of what? DNA test, DNA fingerprinting. Okay, so this variability, the difference in the repetition, repeating units, this variability is the basis of DNA test. We can call it as DNA polymorphism. What is the reason for DNA polymorphism? Scientists say it is due to mutation. Okay, due to the mutation which was present in our foreparents, or like this is gradually there's change. This change accumulated and made me different from you. Okay, anyway, understand one thing. Any mutation on these sequences, satellite DNA, are never giving any change in our body because these are non-coding regions. We have already discussed repetitive DNA or satellite DNA having no role in our body functions because they are non-coding regions. So mutation on this region will not affect the person, but it will be there as a it can be used for identity testing. Okay, mutation in the repetitive DNA is not showing any effect because they are non-coding sequences. They are not coding for any protein. Okay, is this thing clear? Okay, we are discussing the principle of DNA test. Okay, the principle is nothing but DNA polymorphism. How can we test DNA? Because DNA shows differences. If the DNA does not show any differences, we cannot test them. Okay, so what is the principle behind the DNA test or DNA fingerprinting? It is nothing but the DNA polymorphism. Okay, the genetic level difference. So what is the principle behind the DNA test is what? DNA polymorphism. Where is the polymorphism? The polymorphism is in the repetitive DNA. That is what we have discussed. The polymorphism, the change is in repetitive DNA. Especially how many times it will repeat. That is showing variation. That genetic level variation which is inherited is defined as DNA polymorphism. So what is the principle of DNA test? It is DNA polymorphism. What is DNA polymorphism? It is the genetic level variation. Okay, the variation which can be inherited. Where is the variation? Where is this DNA polymorphism? It is in the repetitive DNA. How many different types of repetitive DNA we have? Number of repetitive DNA we have. Among this, now the present DNA test is based on 13 repetitive DNA only. Okay, we will discuss it. So today we are discussing the procedure of DNA test which was developed by Alec Jeffreys. Okay, so Alec Jeffreys in 1984 developed the technique of DNA test. Okay, this DNA test is based on a particular repetitive DNA. For this testing, he has used which repetitive DNA? The repetitive DNA which shows high degree of polymorphism in human, VNTR. It's expanded as variable number tandem repeats. Okay, expansion of VNTR, variable number tandem repeats. What are they? What are VNTRs? Tell me what are VNTRs? VNTRs are one type of repetitive DNA or satellite DNA. It's a microsatellite DNA. Then expand it, variable number tandem repeats. What do you mean by that? It is a highly polymorphic, highly variable, that's it by the name. Highly polymorphic DNA sequence which a repetition shows high difference from person to person. That means its variability is from 0.1 kb to 20 kb. That means its variability is ranging from 0.1 kb to 20 kb. What do you mean by that? If a person shows The size of VNTR 0.1 kb, another person it may be 20 kb, high difference, and there is a lot many values in between. That means this VNTR sequences are one of the satellite DNA sequences which shows high variability from person to person. Okay, and it is used in DNA test. Now there are other short tandem repeats etc. used. This is not very commonly used now. Anyway, Alec Jeffries developed what? VNTR based DNA test. Procedure of DNA fingerprinting. When is usually DNA test done? Okay, just nowadays very common. You are popular about it based on a father paternity test. Okay, and also it can be tested for many criminals. Many cases you have seen in newspapers. Okay, in order to test the criminals, and also in order to test the alien. Okay, to a family, in royal families and all. If a particular person claim I belong to this family, DNA test is conducted. Okay, anyway, the DNA test is a test to identify a person based on his DNA, unique DNA. And here we compare the DNA with the particular suspect. I mean, if we have a suspect, if we get any sample of that person, we can do the DNA test. For understand what is the prime requirement for the DNA test is the DNA. DNA should be there for testing. Then what is the source for the DNA? It can be, if we are doing it willingly, the blood is a good sample for DNA test. Okay, blood is given for DNA test, you know that. Otherwise, if it is a crime scene or like, we can even the hair root cell. Okay, I mean not the hair, its root, there will be some cells. Hair root cell is enough for what? DNA test. It can be amplified. Recently there are PCR like techniques, polymerase chain reaction. If it was one cell DNA, that is enough. It can be amplified and tested. Okay, anyway, with recent developments in the technologies, even hair root cell is enough for DNA test. Then saliva, maybe having some cheek cells, that is enough for DNA test. Then semen, okay, will be having sperm cells, that is enough for DNA test. Then skin, anyway, if was anywhere our skin is scratched in the crime scene or like, that is enough for DNA test. Blood is a good sample for DNA test. The sources can be anything and the material required is DNA. So we get as cells. Then how we take DNA? That is the first procedure we discussed. The first step is isolation of DNA. Isolation of the DNA is the first step in DNA fingerprinting. How to isolate DNA? You have the common sense, you know that because you have already studied Griffith's experiment, then Avery MacLeod, how they isolated DNA, this sort of things. Then tell me how we isolate DNA. This is what we are going to study in detail in biotechnology chapter, how the method of isolation, etc. We now just have a basic idea. If you are getting one cell, otherwise if you are getting blood as such, some amount of blood, how will take the DNA from that? You have an experiment in your practicals, DNA isolation from plant material. We are going to do that. Anyway, tell me how we isolate it. If we need only DNA from the cells, blood cells. And all other nutrients, all other chemicals we have to remove by their certain enzymes. Remove proteins by proteins, remove lipids by lipids, remove carbohydrates by carbohydrates, digesting enzymes. Then what is left will be only DNA. Simple and ultracentrifugation is enough. Okay. So anyway, using any method, we are isolating DNA either with the help of enzymes, then by ultracentrifugation method, density gradient centrifugation methods. Okay. First, we are isolating the DNA by digesting the cell wall is broken, like so many techniques are there. Then if it's blood, it is easy to do. Then what we do? We remove all other biochemicals and only the DNA will be left behind. We can take it purely. In pure form, we can precipitate it. Then we can do ultra centrifugation, density gradient centrifugation using cesium chloride as a medium. Okay, in cesium chloride medium we can do ultra centrifugation. You know, during ultra centrifugation we can separate the DNAs as major peak and minor peak, small minor peaks. Okay, when we do ultracentrifugation, understand the DNA which we have done when we do, which we have isolated when we do ultracentrifugation, we get it separated as major peak. This is genomic DNA. We get genomic DNA. Okay, and the minor peaks will be satellite DNA, so that we can separate satellite DNA. Okay, is it clear? By ultracentrifugation, these two can be separated. Genomic DNA we can separate, then we need only satellite DNA. Okay, anyway, the first step is isolation of DNA. The second step is fragmentation of the DNA. The isolated DNA we are cutting into random sized fragments. Okay, using restriction endonuclease enzymes. So we are not cutting it with the scissors or any equipments. In order to cut the DNA, we have to use restriction enzymes. Restriction endonuclease enzyme. We will discuss in the biotechnology chapter in detail. Now just understand, with the help of certain enzymes, the DNA is cut into fragments. Then when the enzymes act, they act at specific sites only. So they produce not equal sized fragments. They produce random sized fragments. Some fragments may be big and some may be small, like that. Okay, so not equally sized fragments. The restriction enzymes on action produce random fragments of DNA. Okay, so just understand, if the isolated DNA is not enough, in between there is another step of amplification. We can amplify it by PCR or like techniques. Okay, there are techniques to amplify known as PCR, polymerase chain reaction. This can be done if we need to amplify. Okay, if the DNA sample is not enough, there is a step in between that is called amplification of the DNA. If that is enough, we can do the second step as fragmentation of DNA. Then third step, the fragmented DNA we get as randomly sized fragments. Then we have to separate. The next technique is separation technique. How we can separate the fragments. Okay, the separation is done using gel electrophoresis technique. Okay, gel electrophoresis technique. In gel electrophoresis, we are using a gel. Its name is, most commonly used gel is agarose gel. Okay, the gel will be filled in a medium and there are some wells or cuvettes into which the DNA samples, these fragments can be added. Okay, so this is a gel medium, agarose gel medium, and these are some wells where we can load the DNA sample, load DNA fragments. The details we are going to discuss in another chapter. Now just have the idea, that's enough. Okay, no need to draw and explain. This is coming, gel electrophoresis is coming later in biotechnology. Now just study how the gel electrophoresis is done. Okay, in this wells we are loading this DNA fragments. Then when we apply current, okay, under an electric field, you know the DNAs are, here we load the DNA fragments. Okay, you know the DNA fragments or DNA are negatively charged. So it moved towards the anode. This is the cathode. Okay, then towards which side the DNA fragments move? DNA fragments are negatively charged, so it moved towards the anode. And there is a particular gel inside, and the gel will allow the movement of DNA, but there is a retaining capacity also for the gel. That all we will discuss in the next topic, gel electrophoresis, that time. Okay, so anyway, understand the negatively charged DNA moved towards the anode. The movement is in such a way that large sized fragments move very slow. small sized fragments move very fast. Okay, if the fragments are small size, it can move fast to the anode. Okay, the smaller sized one will move fast. Okay, just I have shown a representation. See, here you can see some remain undigested. If it is undigested, if it is not broken by the action of the DNA digesting enzymes, it will be remain as undigested and kept as a bundle. And digested DNA, broken DNA fragments will be separated according to their size. We cannot see the DNA like this colored. It will require some staining procedure anyway. Just understand what is the aim of this step. Why this step is done? Gel electrophoresis is done. We have many DNA fragments, different size. Our aim is to separate the DNA fragments. So by this step, how the DNA fragments are separated? DNA fragments are separated on a gel based on the size. Smaller sized one will be moving towards the anode. The larger sized one remain towards the wells where it is loaded. Okay, so the separation technique is known as gel electrophoresis. I think it's clear. We will get the DNA separated. Okay, and the next step is, the fourth step is alkaline treatment. Alkaline treatment of the sample. I mean, to the gel, we are adding some alkali. Okay, what is the purpose of alkaline treatment is, this will make the DNA unsegmented. That means the DNA will be separated as single-stranded DNA. Single-stranded DNA we require for the testing. Okay, so the DNA double-stranded DNA is converted to single-stranded DNA by some alkaline treatment. So keep in mind, double-stranded DNA is broken or changed to single-stranded DNA by alkaline treatment. That is the fourth step. Then next most important step is blotting. This step was discovered by N.M. Southern. Scientist name is N.M. Southern. So this step is known as Southern blotting. The next step, Southern blotting. Okay, what do you mean by this? Blotting means what is there on a medium, we can adhere to another one. Blotting paper. Okay, you know that. If the ink is there on the table, we can blot it on the blotting paper. Same way, the DNA is on the gel, we are blotting it on the, copying it or adhering it on the paper. That is what is Southern blotting. In Southern blotting, the DNA fragments in the gel is blot or copied to or adhered to what? Nitrocellulose or nylon paper by keeping a weight. The nitrocellulose or nylon paper will be kept above that. Then a weight is pressed above that. Then it will be easily adhered to the paper. Okay. Anyway, in Southern blotting, a technique developed by N.M. Southern, the DNA fragments, single-stranded DNA fragments from the gel is blot on what? A nitrocellulose or nylon paper. Okay? And for that, many tissue paper support is required and a weight is pressed over that. Then this is copied to a nitrocellulose paper. Okay? That step is known as Southern blotting. Where are our DNAs now? Now all our DNA fragments are there on the paper. Okay? Not in the gel. Then the next step is hybridization. Sixth step is DNA hybridization. In DNA hybridization, you know what is our aim? Why we are copying this DNA and all things we are doing? In order to test it. Okay, what we want to test? We want to test the difference, DNA polymorphism. Okay, we are testing only the VNTRs here. In the technique developed by Alec Jeffries, we are testing the VNTRs. So what we have to do? We have to bind the VNTRs. Okay, for that we need a sequence which can bind to the VNTR. See, our DNA fragments which are there now on the nitrocellulose paper, will be having our VNTRs. Okay, how many times it will repeat only different. We know the VNTR sequence. So such kind of ready-made VNTR probes are there. Okay, so imagine our VNTR sequence we know. We are checking the length of that. How many VNTR repeats are there? Okay, that many VNTR should go and bind there. So we have ready-made VNTR probes. Okay, so what is meant by that? A VNTR probe is a complementary radioactively labeled. That's why it's called a probe. A DNA probe is a radioactively labeled DNA. Okay, radio labeled VNTR we have. Okay, which is complementary to our VNTR. Okay, so if there is one repeat, one will go bind. If there are 100 repeats, 100 of VNTR probes will go and bind there, and that region can be autoradiographed, eliminated. Bands we can very clearly see. Just understand, as a next step, the nitrocellulose paper is immersed in a tank containing a number of ready-made VNTR probes. VNTR probes are the DNA fragment, VNTR fragments which are complementary to our VNTR, which are radio labeled. Okay, and how many repeats we have on a particular piece, that many will go and bind there. Okay, so it will be complementary to our VNTR sequences. That many will go and bind. That many bands will appear. Okay, so that is what is the important step, hybridization. Okay, then the last step. So here we are immersing the nitrocellulose or nylon paper in a tank, in a container containing ready-made VNTR probes. Okay, then probes will bind to our segment wherever the VNTRs are. That many bands can appear. The last step is, in order to visualize the band, we should do autoradiography. Since it's radio labeled, these bands will be illuminated in autoradiography. Since VNTR probes are radioactively labeled, it can be seen as darkened, illuminated bands in autoradiography. Okay, so that is the last step of DNA test. Should I explain it once again? I think it's clear. In very brief, I just tell the 6 steps only. Okay. So understand, a DNA fingerprinting test has a first important step is isolation of DNA. The isolated DNA can be amplified if necessary. Otherwise, it is fragmented using enzymes. These fragments are separated using gel electrophoresis. After separation, alkaline treatment is done to make it single-stranded. Then this is copied to a nitrocellulose paper, that is called southern blotting, and after that it is hybridized using VNTR probes. Okay, and in hybridization we get the number of VNTR probes attached complementary to our corresponding VNTRs. Then these bands can be, what is the length of the VNTR of us, can be eliminated using autoradiography technique. Our VNTRs can be eliminated by autoradiography technique. Okay, and with one more thing, I will wind up. How to test the paternity, disputed paternity using DNA test. Okay, see, this is the most common and one of the most important applications of DNA test is what? The disputed parentage checking. Okay, mostly the father. Disputed paternity checking. Okay, see, in that case, you know, a child chromosome 1, it is not necessary to compare all the chromosomes. It is not necessary to study the entire DNA. We need to study only the repetitive DNA, compare only repetitive DNA. It is not even necessary to study the entire chromosome. Even with one chromosome, we can get the clear idea. Anyway, just suppose this is a child's first chromosome pair. Child's DNA. Okay. Then here, as a representation only I am giving. See, this is CGCTC. So VNTR we are checking CGCTC. Okay, CGCTC. Okay, then the other chromosome CGCTC. He has only one repeat. Otherwise I write here CGCTC. Here there are 4 repeats. CGCTC. So listen carefully. In a child's DNA, the first chromosome pair I have just represented here is the first chromosome of the child, one portion. Okay? The child's first chromosome in the DNA, out of the 2 chromosomes in one pair, in one chromosome he has a repeat of 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 repeats of this VNTR. Suppose that is a VNTR. Whereas in this one, other chromosome, he has a repeat of what? Only 2 VNTRs. Okay. His VNTR repeat on first chromosome, one out of the pair, one member is 4, other one is 2. Okay. In the first pair of chromosome, he has 4 and 2 as VNTR repeats. Then his genetic father must have in his chromosome 1, okay, the father, there will not be any mutation. What is mutation will be as such inherited. His father on his first chromosome, must have either this or this. That means out of these 2 chromosomes, one is paternal, other is maternal. This comes from father or this comes from mother. Otherwise, this comes from father, this comes from mother. Okay, that means, now we cannot say that which one is, but that testing we can. See, out of the 2 chromosomes in every pair of an individual, one comes from father, other one from mother. So, if this is the paternal chromosome of him, his father must have this 4 VNTR repeats in any of the 2 chromosomes of the first pair. Okay, so the father, if his genetic father, he must have either this or this as any member. So easily we can compare. Okay, the VNTR of the child should match with that of father. Any one chromosome testing is enough. I think it's clear. Then we can wind up the topic DNA fingerprinting, and if there is any doubt we will discuss. Okay, thank you.